In the peaceful village of Sonderpur, nestled among lush fields and dense forests, a young woman named Meera fell deeply in love with Arjun, a spirited man from the neighbouring village of Haripur. Their love, though pure, was shadowed by the looming threat of Meera's father's plans to marry her to someone else. One evening, under the cover of twilight, Meera met Arjun near the edge of her village. She pleaded with him to run away and marry her before it was too late. Desperation gleamed in her eyes as she insisted on a quick solution. "There is a temple in your village, the Kali temple. It's abandoned, and no one will stop us there," she urged. "Meera, that temple is cursed. They say anyone who performs rituals or worships there is paralyzed and dies the next day. Superstitions won't rule my life. If you love me, meet me there tomorrow morning. If you don't, I'll never forgive you." Arjun, torn between his love for Meera and the stories he had heard, reluctantly agreed. The next morning, under the dim light of the rising sun, Meera and Arjun exchanged vows in the eerie silence of the Kali temple. Its walls, cracked and weathered with age, bore the weight of forgotten rituals and untold pain. The air was heavy, as though the temple itself mourned their presence. After the ceremony, Arjun brought Meera to his home in Haripur, but their happiness was short-lived. That evening, as Arjun rested on a cot, his body began trembling violently. Meera rushed to his side, panic consuming her. "Arjun, what's happening?" she cried, her voice trembling. "I told you," he gasped, his voice strained and weak. "The temple is cursed. By tomorrow evening, I'll be gone." Meera's heart shattered as she watched her husband's body grow limp, his eyes filled with dread. Her anguished cries echoed through the village, drawing the attention of the townsfolk. "He's been cursed," an elderly villager said gravely. "The Kali temple has taken many lives. My nephew went there once, and he met the same fate." "Why is the temple cursed?" Meera demanded, but her questions were met with silence. The villagers avoided her gaze and quietly dispersed, leaving her alone with her grief and desperation. Determined to save Arjun, Meera sought out Rani Kaki, a reclusive, hunchbacked woman who lived on the outskirts of the village. The villagers often whispered that Rani Kaki knew the secrets of the temple. When Meera knocked on her door, the old woman opened it cautiously, her sharp eyes scrutinizing the young bride. "I married in the Kali temple, and now my husband is cursed. Please tell me how to save him," Meera begged. Rani Kaki shook her head, her voice low and grim. "Everyone who defies that temple dies. She won't spare anyone." "Who is she? Please tell me the truth." Sighing deeply, Rani Kaki relented and began her tale. Years ago, a young woman named Tara fell in love with Raghav, the priest's son who tended to the temple. He promised to marry her, but his intentions were deceitful. One night he lured her to the temple, claiming he wanted to talk about their future. But Raghav betrayed her trust and dishonored her. Before Tara could escape, some villagers arrived. Fearing their judgment, Raghav lied, accusing Tara of trying to trap him into marriage. The villagers, believing Raghav's words, turned on Tara. They dragged her outside, beat her, and branded her as immoral. Despite her pleas and cries for justice, no one listened. As Tara lay dying, her body broken and her spirit shattered, she cursed the temple. "From this day forward, anyone who worships or performs rituals here will suffer as I have and die in agony." The next day, Raghav, mocking her curse, performed a puja in the temple. By evening, he was paralyzed. The following day, he died in unbearable pain. From that moment, the temple became a place of fear, abandoned by the villagers. Meera listened, her heart heavy with both sorrow and determination. If Tara was wronged, then we must seek her forgiveness. Only then can the curse be lifted. Moved by her conviction, Rani Kaki agreed to help. The next day, Meera rallied the villagers to join her in the temple. Reluctantly, they gathered, carrying a portrait of Tara and offerings for the fire ritual. The temple, once a symbol of despair, was now filled with light and the hum of prayers. The villagers sought Tara's forgiveness, acknowledging their ancestors' mistakes. As the fire blazed and prayers reached their crescendo, a warm, radiant light filled the temple. Tara's spirit appeared, her face serene and her eyes brimming with gratitude. With a gentle smile, she dissolved into the light, her soul finally at peace. At that moment, Arjun, who had been lying near the altar, stood up, fully healed. The curse had been lifted. The villagers, humbled and grateful, turned the temple into a place of reverence, honoring both goddess